Let's do it. If it's not one problem, it is the other. All right. Put in the raw sugar. Yes, I can live with raw sugar. That's fine. All right. Put the clock up. And once that goes up and the first tweet goes up, we shall do this. Here we go. There it is. 5 minutes. I'm touching it. Inappropriately. Okay, here we go. Hit it. All right. What was your reaction to the Wilder KO? Expected that, but damn. That was a brutal right hand. I don't know how good someone pushed back on me on this one a little bit. I don't know how good of an all-around boxer that Wilder is, but he is an all-time great puncher. And that punching ability makes up for a lot. Now, people are like, well, what's the difference between being a boxer and a puncher? A lot. Remember, boxing involves a number of tricks about setting up offense, movement, footwork, angles, sophistication of setups. It's a lot more than just throwing a big, heavy punch. But throwing a big, heavy punch, obviously, can be hugely beneficial. When it comes to that, Wilder has some of the best power I think I have ever seen. He's easily the best power puncher of this generation, and maybe the one before it as well. He is a frightening man. A frightening man. Go ahead, next. What did you think of Michel Pereira's UFC debut? Who would make a good next opponent? The Jabberwockies? That guy is amazing. Do you see what he was doing up there? Dancing. First of all, he's super athletic, right? He looks like what Ido Portal would look like if he was a good MMA fighter, you know? And then also just a little bit off of his rocker, which makes me like, which I don't say pejoratively. It's like say it as a compliment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Nico Price, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what would be good, but somebody kind of crazy like him. And by the way, isn't it kind of interesting? There are certain fighters like Johnny Walker and Michel Pereira. They're not identical, but these guys have a bit of sort of a wild, open, high amplitude kind of striking style who take risks and do things. It doesn't work for everybody, but for the right kind of fighter, it works a little bit. Next. Hey, Luke and Danny, great work. You two are underrated as a duo. I do say so myself. But do you think Felicia Spencer defeating Megan, why would you tag her? Please stop tagging fighters. Could be good for the future of women's featherweight. She seemed to do well with the media and nerves. Yeah, she's real talented. She's very, very talented. Finding a legitimate talent who, part of this, again, developmental process. The institutions play a role in that, but the ones who make it easy on the institutions are the ones who go a little bit further. Felicia Spencer still, I think, less than 10 fights into her career. Looking the way that she's looking, she has conceivably pretty bright future, so we'll see. Next. Who is a current top-level fighter that you think will make a top-level coach? Ooh, that's a good one. Probably Tyron Woodley, I think would be a really good one. I think he's really, really smart, has an understanding of the game. I don't know if he would want to be a coach, but I have a profound respect for his ability as an analyst, obviously as a fighter as well, so he'd be a good one. You have to have a certain disposition to do it, but Cormier obviously would be another good one. Yeah. Next. Do you think the UFC promotional machine has helped or hindered the development of fighters like Kevin Lee and Darren Till and put them under pressure to deliver highlight reel performances rather than grind out the basics? This is what I mean. Kevin Lee is so talented, and Darren Till, I believe, has a bright future. I think he needs to find the right weight class. I don't think that's welterweight for him. But yeah, and look, part of it is these guys bring it on themselves, right? They encourage these fighters to say these grandiose things. I'm the best. I'm ready for Habib. I'm Darren Till, before the UFC Liverpool event, I'm the best guy in the world. They end up writing checks that ultimately they can't cash in certain ways, and maybe they feel that way. But I just feel like we incentivize a certain level of, we call it fight promotion, and it is. But then it ends up becoming this thing where you can't, it's like Andy Kaufman, you can't quite tell what's real and what's not, who the joke is on. It bleeds into reality rather than having a much more concerted effort at development. There are a lot of fighters that could go very far, but for the fact that, Pride used to take gold medalists and just throw them to the wolves. We don't do that, thank goodness. But yeah, again, these guys who are in their 20s, it is stupid to write them off, y'all. Do not do it. At the same time, be cognizant of some of the challenges that they face. Next. How much harder is it to score a 10-8 round as a jiu-jitsu specialist in the eyes of the judges versus a wrestler or a striker? Don't know. Never had to judge. Couldn't tell you. Next. Pettis versus Masvidal jiu-jitsu match scheduled for June 15th. Isn't that risky? I mean, Pettis could get injured, and then that means no Pettis versus Diaz fight on 18 August. Possible, but seemingly unlikely. Both guys repped by the same people. They're going to be going hard in the gym anyway. I'm not saying no, but I wouldn't see it as the huge twist. One more, if we can. Most of the major karate-style strikers, except Raymond Daniels, have been KO'd in the last year. Has the code been cracked on the point fighters? Again, I think there's probably been some development made in that regard. Whether the code has been cracked, all of them are kind of different. They're not necessarily all the same, but you see the best ones don't, like Douglas Lima. They don't really bite on the fakes and feints as much, and so they're able to just sort of do like a little bit of what Shogun did to Machida, just not really biting on anything and then just going to the leg kicks and sticking to your Muay Thai game.